Yemen should be making headline news every single day for the sheer brutality being inflicted upon its people. But instead, the war is not only ignored by the corporate media, but also subject to big tech censorship of the type that Jyoti mentioned. So, our website, yemensolidarity.org, is banned on Facebook, by the way. The reason for this media blackout, however, is extremely easy to understand. There is no conceivable humanitarian pretext to justify the war on Yemen, and any public discussion about Yemen would soon lead millions of people around the world to ask the question, why are the richest and most powerful states on earth inflicting collective punishment on a nation of 27 million people that even prior to the conflict was one of the poorest nations on earth, and a nation that relied prior to the conflict on imports for 90% of its food? There is no humanitarian pretext for why the Saudis and Emiratis have recruited over 100,000 mercenaries from the poorest countries in the world to fight in Yemen. There is no humanitarian pretext for why the Anglo-American powers, that is the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia in particular, have all contributed towards training the Saudi Navy to enforce this genocidal blockade on the Yemeni people. And there is no humanitarian pretext for why arms industries across the world have profited from selling billions of dollars worth of deadly equipment that are being used against the Yemeni people. The Saudis spend around $200 million per day committing this genocide. So this is not a David versus Goliath conflict. This is a David versus 1,000 Goliaths conflict. And when this conflict ends, it's highly likely that the final death toll will be counted not in the hundreds of thousands, but in the millions. So, despite these incredible odds, and despite the weapon of mass starvation being employed against them, the Yemeni national resistance is winning, and this is very, very inspirational. So, it's important to know their story. So, what do I mean by the Yemeni national resistance? I'm talking, of course, about the National Salvation Government of Yemen, based in the capital Sana'a, which represents a coalition of political movements, most importantly Ansarullah, which is also known as the Houthi movement.